Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Adrienne and you are here with Our Dream of Simple Living. Today I thought that I would do a really quick garden tour. I know it's been a little bit since we have done a weekly garden tour, but I kind of try to get them done when I can. And tonight we are out here and there's been quite a few things that have changed. And so I'm excited to show you guys. So this one's going to be really quick. Just kind of wanted to show you new stuff, things that, again, I always try to let you guys know things that I'm a little concerned about. And then just some of the changes that we've made in the garden. So since we've been together, we have pulled up some of our carrots. We pulled up all of our lettuce because it was literally starting to suffer. Some of it still looked okay, but for the most part, it was just ready to let it go, or time to let it go. In place of the bulk of our lettuce, I went ahead and put some squash and different, I think spaghetti squash, watermelon seeds, cantaloupe seeds. Now, I don't know if any of that will work out, but I figured we had this space, and so why not try it? Now, I tell you guys all the time that when it comes to, see something on a leaf, I'm trying to see what it is. Anyway, when it comes to squash and zucchini, I question every single year whether or not I want to plant it. Now, I'm working with the tripod. Something's going on with this one. I can't find my other one that I normally use, so I know I kind of look cut off, but sorry. But I went ahead and put some in the ground, and I figure, you know what? We've got such a long growing season, and if squash bugs come about, then we'll just pull the plants. But my motto is, you never know if it's going to work if you don't try it. So I feel like we're going to just put them in the ground, see what happens. I hate dealing with squash bugs or a lot of different bugs anyway. But we're gonna see. So I'm gonna turn you guys around and let you see what's going on. We always try to start in this garden bed, which is kind of like as we come out of our door, we come straight to this one. And then of course these are our L-shaped beds. Now we're actually going to be putting a little bit of fish fertilizer on our tomatoes. I have not fertilized those since I put them in the ground, and that was the end of April, middle April, I think. And so I'm just going to put a little bit around the roots. I don't want to over fertilize my tomatoes, but I do want to go ahead and get them just boosted a little bit. I have some that were kind of dealing with some leaf spot. I really think it was like early blight, but it was one particular variety that was doing that, and all the others were fine. So I've been really concerned. Maybe I won't start over here. Maybe I'll kind of show you something that I'm excited about. And even this morning I came out and I was like, what is going on with these tomatoes? Like, they were the first ones to get bigger, they were the first ones to flower, but they're not doing anything. I don't see anything. And guys, my daughter was out here with me earlier and she was like, there are tomatoes on the plant. I was like, no, they're not. Y'all, look at this. All right, so this variety, basically all these, I think it's like 5 or 6, they're called the Pink Girl variety. These are the ones that I told you guys. A friend of mine in Tennessee, I'm in Mississippi, actually recommended these, and these are the only ones that her and her family grow every year. Like, they don't grow any other ones. And so I was like, you know what? We're not that far from where she is, so let's see what happens. Y'all, these tomatoes, you can see that these are the first ones that I basically took all the leaves off the bottom. But you can see I'm kind of still dealing with some spots on the leaves, but they're still growing and the new growth is fine. And they've seemed to grow a lot more since I got some of those bad leaves off. But they weren't, like, all the flowers were kind of, like, if you look at this, all of the flowers were kind of doing that, turning brown and just falling off. So I'm thinking, okay, something's going on. And I hadn't seen any tomatoes. And then look at this, y'all. Look at this. Can y'all see that? It's only one so far on this one, but then next to it, see how they're all like doing this weird thing? And I'm sure it's something going on. I don't know, y'all, but I'm not gonna stress about it. But even in here, like there's a tomato right, where is it? I can't even, there it is, right there. So we seem to be getting some growth. Maybe they just take a while. I don't see any of the other ones with tomatoes, but you can kind of see those leaves that just kind of, I don't know. And I actually asked my friend, I was like, do you know if they're susceptible to disease? Like, what is it? And, you know, I don't know. I don't think they notice a lot in theirs, but, you know, it's kind of what's going on. But anyway, I'll show you guys the rest of these. So we did plant out several other tomatoes. You can see these kind of coming on. Now this one I'm super happy with right now. It's really getting big. You can see it compared to the others. It's a Goliath tomato plant. I've never heard of a Goliath. Just a little backstory. I started all of my tomatoes inside. I started over 70 tomatoes because I knew that I wanted to really get a good harvest of tomatoes this year. Now, I'm gonna say, as a gardener that's been gardening for years, you never know what the garden year is gonna be like. You go into it thinking, I'm going to really do great, and sometimes you just don't. And it may not even be anything that you've done in particular. It could just be the season. Like right now, it's been really hot. You know, it got really, really hot quicker for us. So I've been kind of watching, and, you know, we don't have drip irrigation or anything. And each year we try to put one big project on our list. And so right now, because we, you know, of course, redid our garden and everything, we don't have a garden fence up, which really bothers me because this little puppy right here, Rover. Hey, Bubba. Hey, sweet boy. Hey, baby. Sorry, y'all. This sweet boy has never messed with my garden until now. I come out here sometimes and he has literally ran through my potato bed. He's ran through my beans. And then we do have rabbits that are in our yard. I haven't seen them in the garden. However, I've planted enough to where I hope that we still have enough, because it's nothing else I can do. My husband really wanted to focus on putting up a good garden fence, as opposed to just kind of putting up one that's, you know, just flimsy, which is what we've kind of always done. And so that's going to be a big project for us. And with everything that we had going on at the earlier part of the year, where it was cool enough for us to really get out here and do the work, we could have probably gotten it done, but we just said, you know what? We're going to give ourselves grace this year and let that be a fall project or a next spring project, and we're not going to worry about it. However, I'm thinking that drip irrigation, because my garden is much bigger than it's ever been, we may need to work on drip irrigation, at least in the beds where we have the tomato plants, which is typically going to be in these L-shaped beds. So like here, the one in the back, that one in the back has not been planted, and then this one in the front. So, you know, it's one of those things where we've kind of got to decide what's going to work. We actually like to come out. My oldest daughter loves to come out and water the garden. It's just I want to make sure that we're watering it well enough. Y'all, I hate, do y'all ever walk through that? Y'all can't see it, but like where those little bugs are just like everywhere. It's the little bitty bugs, and they're just, you don't even know it until you walk through it. It's crazy. Anyway, so just a lot of different things that we're kind of debating and thinking about. And right now, I'm not going to worry about it. All I'm worried about is making sure that my plants remain healthy, hoping that they produce, and just focusing on what we can get this season, and then we'll worry about the rest. All right, so as you can see up here in the front, we have pepper plants. Now, all throughout my garden, you'll notice that my pepper plants are just not looking great. I don't really know what's going on. They have a lot of new growth, so I'm not really bothering them. And then again, we're still kind of in the, with peppers like the heat. So it could be that they bounce back when it gets a little warmer. You can see some of them are doing pretty good. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to let them do their thing and deal with it when we need to. This is my Swiss chard that, if you can remember, the first garden tour was terrible. Like, we could not get Swiss chard to grow. Every time it would start to grow, we had grasshoppers eating it. And now we just kind of have it here. My husband is the only one in the family that likes Swiss chard, and I just haven't harvested it to do anything with it. And it may just be here to be a trap plant, because they were chomping on my tomato leaves at one point, and so I just kind of let that be a trap plant. But as you can see right here, we pulled out turnips and things not too long ago. And so right now we've actually planted a squash here, green zucchini, and then back there we did another squash. So that's what we have there. And then over here, we've still got some brassicas that are growing, y'all. And I'm just going to kind of leave them until they peter out. But up in here, we kind of have cabbages. We have some kale. We're still harvesting those things. But all up and through here, you see that we have beans. And these beans have flowers all over them. A lot of them, we're actually seeing baby beans. So hopefully really soon we'll be ready to harvest these babies. I'm really excited. If you've been around for a while, I've told you guys that every single year, without fail, our green beans get eaten up. Like, no matter what we do, no matter how we plant them, no matter where we plant them, they get eaten up. And guys, they were getting eaten up here, and I mean torn up. And they've started to make a comeback, so I just had patience and just let them grow, and so I'm glad they're growing. If you look back here, we have some tomato plants. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can find tomatoes in there. Let me try to, hopefully you guys can see that. But we got quite a few tomatoes, and I'm going to come around the back of these plants and show you guys. Got some more beans back here. But these tomatoes have basically done really well from what it looks like. We've got more tomato babies in here. So this one actually kind of is doing its thing. It's got quite a bit. But you can see those tomatoes down there. And the majority of these tomatoes, I think all of them actually have tomatoes on the vine. So, these tomatoes really weren't bothered with leaf spot or anything. You can see that's some tomatoes down here. And then our biggest tomato right now is that one in there. So, as I was saying earlier, one of the things that I really tried to focus on this year, after my tomatoes just did not do well, I had to just accept that and just move on. I was frustrated, but we had a lot of stuff going on, and I gave myself grace and was just like, you know what, it is what it is. We had to pivot. So we went to a local nursery, and I decided this year, instead of trying to do all the different kinds of tomatoes, which is what I basically had grown, like I had a bunch of different tomatoes, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to just buy the ones that are local to my area, that already have people that, in my area that actually grow them and have very little problems with them. So as I was at this nursery, there were a ton of people there, and I just started asking around. I was like, hey, which ones do y'all, do? Or I just kind of watched what other people were buying, and so many people were helpful. I always recommend that if you can't grow it yourself, or if you can't start it yourself, definitely go to a local nursery, because a lot of those local nurseries, they're going to be able to tell you this tomato does really well in our area. You're going to find some really cool people that can really help you, and that was so helpful for me. So I think a lot of these tomatoes, even though they're not like the ones that, I wanted Dr. Weechies or White Cheese and the yellow tomatoes and all the things, I'm not worried about that this year. This will honestly be my fourth or fifth year. I think it's my fourth year gardening. We've never had a good tomato harvest. So this year I'm focusing on, hopefully I can get a win from just the basic tomatoes that we're growing. I'm not worried about all the other stuff. Once I kind of get a handle on what it is that I'm doing, hey, is this working? Is this not working? Then we'll kind of dive deeper into the other tomatoes. But right now, I'm just happy to see that these tomatoes are actually growing. We did do some pruning, which is something I'm not really good at, or I say that I haven't been good at because I'm always so nervous about how much I'm pruning. And so we did some different things there, and it seems to really be helping with the growth. So hopefully that will make a difference. And I do apologize again, I'm at a weird angle because my other tripod kind of flips down a little bit. I don't know what's going on with this one, but this is another bed where we have tomatoes. We have a lot of our cherry tomatoes over here, and we're already seeing baby cherry tomatoes. So I think this is the Sweet 100 tomato. As you can see, we have babies over there. I was a little sad this year because typically I grow orange cherry tomatoes, which is, I don't even know, I'll try to figure out the name and put it in the video. That's my daughter, my oldest daughter, that's her favorite one. Sun Sugar, I think is what it is. And I couldn't find those, and I had to tell her I'm sorry, but I'd actually started quite a bit for her. So what I may try to do is get a fall crop of them. Again, we have a long growing season, so I think I can get some in the ground towards the fall. So maybe I'll try to do that. But anyway, we have some Better Boy Plus, Celebrity Plus, and again, these are all kind of local to our area. I'm sure that other areas get them, but we have a yellow plum, and just some different tomatoes. So everything, they're all looking good, but you can see these peppers are still just kind of looking blah. Now, not all of our peppers are looking like this, but for the most part, some of them, I'm just like, what is happening and what is going on? So anyway, we'll see what happens. But over here we have, let me see if I can pull this out a little bit. We have Kalima beans. These are more green beans. So I kind of have a patch of green beans here. Hoping that these kind of green up. I put some blood meal on them, and so we'll see if those green up, but they are getting taller. My green beans in the front actually started out looking kind of yellow like this as well, but they started to green up, so I'm not going to worry about them too much right now. All right, so this next bed, we have our Roma tomatoes, and in between those, I kind of just put beans in there just because if they don't work out, it's okay. But my Roma tomatoes, I will be honest and say I'm a little worried about. Never really been able to grow Roma tomatoes, but as you can see, they're determinate tomato variety, so you're not really supposed to do any pruning. I did prune some of the bottom leaves, but you can see that these leaves are just kind of, they're not looking great. Some of them are better than others. You can see that we have some tomatoes growing on all of them actually, but I'm a little worried about the leaves. So tell me guys if you do anything about your determinate tomato varieties and what you do, because I don't want to keep pruning, because I think that's what has happened in the past. I've really messed with my harvest by pruning way too much. So any suggestions, leave them in the comments, let me know. Now, I'm going to show you guys our cucumbers. In the last video, and just even outside of the video, I've been so concerned about these cucumbers, y'all, because they have all just kind of had this yellowing, right? Like if you see that, and those are the first leaves. So I didn't worry so much. I thought maybe they're getting sunburned, but I did fertilize them really well. And guys, some of them are looking better than others, but look at this one. They're starting to bring in some new leaves that are, you know, looking much better. So maybe that's all they needed, was a little bit of fertilizer. I'm not sure. But anyway, they're looking pretty good. So I'm excited about those. And then if we go on to this next bed, this is our next 10-foot bed. This is the one that my puppy likes to run through. We have peppers, and these peppers are definitely looking so much better. This is a new variety for me. It's the lipstick variety, and all of these are looking pretty good, right? Then our shishito peppers are looking pretty good. They have some flowers. We got some big Bertha ones. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to take them out. They're not dead. They're still growing, so we'll leave them there. Now here we put some more beans. I think what happened is I came out and I put some blood meal, bone meal, one or the other, y'all, on these, and I didn't rinse it off very well. So it burned on some of the leaves, and they're looking okay. If you see this patch right here, they're growing. Again, my beans in the front look the same way at first. And they're, you know, doing great. So I'm just gonna leave them. I'm not going to pull anything until they are just absolutely dead and it's time to. So we'll see what happens there. We have another, I think, Roma tomato right there. We do have some peas that my daughter threw in last minute back there. I'm really shocked that some of them have flowers and they're actually growing. So I'm gonna leave them there. We have some peppers in the back that are starting to green up really well. So hopefully those turn out to be okay. Now in this bed, this was our snap pea wall. However, with those snap peas, you know, they kind of started to look really bad. So I came in and I planted, I'm gonna have to put the picture in here or put the name of it. It's like a peach mango something that's supposed to be really good if you can't like grow peaches. So I put those all across this wall here, so we hopefully will get those because we love peaches. My daughter loves mangoes, so I thought that would be really good for her. Still got some brassicas that are growing. Probably need to go ahead and harvest quite a few of these. But we've got some peppers going on in here. We also have 4 tomatillo plants. And y'all, I didn't really think about it when I put these here, but I think tomatillos probably do better if you put them up against a trellis. But we have some tomato cages. I'm gonna go ahead and cage them up and see if that works for them. But yeah, kind of, that's what happened. All right, so in that same bed, we have some collards. We literally harvested a ton of collards off of these 2 plants, and they've already basically grown back. So I'm thinking collards do well in the heat. Maybe somebody can tell me. I'm not really sure, but we're just gonna let them go. We have potatoes over here. This is our Yukon Gold potatoes. Then we have our Kennebec potatoes over here. Now in the middle, you guys, I told you the last video that we ended up harvesting those red potatoes because they were turning yellow. And what I ended up doing was just putting some sweet potato vines that I had in the ground. Now, I've never grown sweet potatoes. I don't know, this may be a death by planting situation, but I figure, you know, either I'm gonna put them in the ground and see if they grow, or, you know, they won't grow for sure because they won't be in the ground. But over here is where we harvested all of those carrots, all of those, the lettuce. Still got some roots in here, but what I ended up doing was kind of weeding this area. And what I know, and I said this in another video as well, is that we're going to have to add more soil, and that's fine. But what we ended up doing was just kind of putting This is where we put watermelon, cantaloupe, honey nut squash, I think, and some other squash, y'all. I don't know. But we're just going to see what happens over there. But this is another view of the sweet potatoes, as you can see. And then back here, we have more, I don't know if this is like dying back here, but it's looking like some of the leaves are frying. Anyway, we've got some more paste tomatoes, some rootgers, and some Romas. And what I've noticed about this back bed, I'm guessing that this bed gets more sun than all of the others, is that a lot of the leaves on a lot of our plants back here are basically frying. This is definitely not leaf spot. It looks like they're basically burning. Some of them look better than others. They're still growing, still have tomatoes on them. So I'm gonna let them go. I'm just gonna make sure that they have plenty of water and that we're not watering the leaves. Now that they've kind of grown up, we can do a better job at that. But if you look at some of these, I have a spider web somewhere, y'all, and I keep trying to get it. We do have some tomatoes growing on these. So, you know, peppers are growing, tomato plants are growing. I'm just gonna take it and just hope for the best. But we can only do what we can do. All right, so that is going to be it for this video today. Just kind of wanted to get you out here and show you some of the things that are going on in the garden, some of the new updates, some of the new growth, show you things that didn't look so great the last time that are starting to do a little bit better. So these are the type of videos I typically put out, especially during the gardening season. So if you enjoyed this video, if you'll please consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We typically try to do a video like this once a week. We'll definitely be in the midst of preserving really soon, so I'm really super excited about that. But anyway, friends, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for just for showing up for me every single time. And just, I appreciate you guys. I thank you all so much. You don't have to spend time in your day with me, but the fact that you do, I am super grateful. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. And yeah, happy growing. Bye, y'all.